fortunate to be here with Father John at St Barnabas Church. Father John's very kindly agreed just to have a bit of a chat with us today, just to tell us about his feelings about Tunbridge Wells and the local area. So Father John, great to see you.
Good to be here with you, John.
Yeah, so a little bit about yourself, Father John. How long have you been living and working in Tunbridge Wells now?
I've been here just over 10 years.
Wow.
Yes.
I think I remember when you first came, actually.
Exactly, so it's
Yeah.
a long time.
It was.
And a lot's happened since then.
I think for me, especially when I lived on Quarry Road and being in such close proximity to St Barnabas and the church, I used to see you, walking about, in uniform, so to speak, and I used to think that was just so powerful, to see that. And I think when I moved to Tunbridge Wells, what I really wanted to get out of it was a community, somewhere where I could put down my roots. And finding a church as well was also important, within that. So, am I right in thinking you'd moved out from London as well, from your previous place?
So I'd been in Somerstown, which is between Euston and St Pancras stations.
Sure.
So a change
Yeah.
coming here.
And, how does that work? Was there any sort of kind of choice within that, or is it like, this is your post, you're off?
No, there was choice in that, and
Sure.
so it was slightly random, but
Yeah.
10 years later,
Yeah.
here I am. So.
Well, it's a remarkable church, and I feel incredibly blessed to be in here, just talking to you on a one-on-one basis today, and to feel the power of this kind of church. You must love working here.
Well, I do. Very fortunate to be in a place like this, and not only the building, but the history and what it stands for.
Sure. And on a day-to-day basis, you're preparing services and tending to the community?
Yes, daily mass. This morning I've already had staff mass in school,
Sure.
drop-off time at school, the assembly. There'll be mass here at 11.
Sure.
And so it's things like that every
Yeah.
day. So the daily run. So there are fixtures and then variables throughout the week.
Because as well as this job, you're a governor within St Barnabas School, is that right?
I am.
Yeah, so I can appreciate, how busy you must be, moving from one place to another, kind of doing that.
But we're very fortunate to have something like that, and you get to know your community very well through
Yeah.
these, not through just church, but school as well.
So what do you love about Tunbridge Wells?
One of the things I think is a great asset for Tunbridge Wells is it's far enough out of London that it has its own community identity.
Sure.
You get a little further in, and it's just as easy to take the half-hour journey to London to have dinner.
Yeah.
And we're just that further along, so there is a real sense of community, and while it's not a small area, it is kind of small town in its feel.
Yeah.
And so I don't think there's anywhere I could walk where I wouldn't run into someone I knew.
Sure. Yeah, I can feel like that sometimes. Even from the years that I've worked here in a estate agency, I still, bump into buyers and sellers. For me, it's always in Sainsbury's on a Sunday.
Yeah. It doesn't matter where you go, and you have, an art scene, which is a legitimate, actually quite vibrant art scene, music, other aspects, and it's part of being a community that you can have that culture.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important.
I think living within the St James community, for me, I absolutely adore Camden Road.
Yes.
It's one of the first roads that I came into when I moved into the area, and I've seen it go from a not so great place to a really good one right now. And I've always loved seeing the new pop-up businesses there, with people's dreams kind of coming to the fore, and I've seen a few close, unfortunately, over the years as well. But I feel blessed. I feel blessed with what we have there. A butcher's, a baker's, some fantastic restaurants, news agents. So, yeah, that's part of this local community that I absolutely adore. As well.
I remember when I first moved here, a former colleague of mine came down to visit. We walked down Camden Road, and he couldn't believe that it was just independent shops all the way down.
Sure. I think that's a nice mix within Tunbridge Wells. There's some fantastic independents, certainly that I see with social media these days, doing some really cool things and trying to be different. And then we've got some really great large corporates still, within the area that are important for jobs as well. So it's such a nice mix. And then again, with me, and I get asked a lot about schooling, certainly from movers coming into the area. I mean, again, I find it remarkable the level of schooling within this area.
Ooh, yes, and you look at secondary schools and how many outstanding secondary schools there are
Sure.
in this area.
Sure. Look, Father John, I'm really, really grateful today just for this
Absolutely.
opportunity to come and talk to you. And I really wish you well with what you're going to be doing day to day.
Yes, well, who knows what the day brings, so they're all a bit different each day.
Thanks so much.
Certainly.